Barcelona, the escalating confrontation over Catalonia's independence drive took its most serious turn on Saturday as Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy of Spain announced he would remove the leadership of the restive region and initiate a process of direct rule by the central government in Madrid. It was the first time that Spain's government had moved to strip the autonomy of one of its 17 regions, and the first time that a leader had invoked Article 155 of the Spanish Constitution, a broad tool intended to protect the general interests of the nation. The unexpectedly forceful moves by Mr. Rajoy, made after an emergency cabinet meeting, thrust Spain into uncharted waters. The Prime Minister is trying to put down one of the gravest constitutional crises his country has faced since embracing democracy after the death of its dictator Gen. Franco in 1975. The steps were immediately condemned by Catalan leaders and risked further inflaming an already volatile atmosphere in the prosperous northeastern region. On October 1, thousands braved national police wielding truncheons to vote in a contentious independence referendum for Catalonia, even after it was declared illegal by the Spanish government and courts. There's nothing soft or limited about what he announced today, Josep Ramoneda, a political columnist, said of Mr. Rajoy. We're entering a very delicate phase in which an independence movement that appeared to be running out of options might now draw instead on a collective sense of humiliation at seeing Catalonia being forced under Madrid's control. Continue reading the main story. Related coverage. Barcelona, a global city in the eye of a separatist storm. Oct. 2017. Article 155, the nuclear option that could let Spain seize Catalonia. Oct. 2017. Spain's opposition backs effort to suspend Catalan autonomy. Oct. 2017. Spain asks Catalonia, did you declare independence or not? Oct. 11, 2017. I am Spanish. Thousands in Barcelona protest to push for independence. Oct. 8, 2017. Recent comments. J. Cornelio 5 hours ago. It's fascinating that even in this 21st century, allegedly open-minded, open-hearted, interconnected world, it's still a matter of tribe. SR 5 hours ago. This isn't exactly burnishing Spain's image as a democratic and totally not authoritarian or anything constitutional monarchy. Puigdemont's reader in Wash, D.C. 5 hours ago. If the self-serving power and tax-hungry bureaucrats in Brussels are against the separatist movement, you know it must be good for the see all comments. Write a comment. Fueled by economic grievances and a distinct language and culture, aspirations for an independent state in Catalonia have ebbed and flowed for generations. But the current confrontation has presented a vexing quandary, not only for Spain, but the entire European Union, pitting demands for self-determination against the desire to preserve the sovereignty and territorial integrity of an important member state. Mr. Rajoy took the bold steps with broad support from Spain's main political opposition and will almost certainly receive the required approval next week from the Spanish Senate, where his own Conservative Party holds a majority. He did so despite repeated appeals for dialogue and mediation by the Catalan leader, Carles Puigdemont, whose independence drive has been shunned by wary European Union officials. Mr. Rajoy said the Catalan government had never offered real dialogue, but it instead tried to impose its secessionist project on Catalan citizens and the rest of the country in violation of Spain's constitution. Photo. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont, Center, attended a protest in Barcelona on Sunday against the imprisonment of two Catalan pro-independence leaders. Credit Ivan Alvarado. Reuters. He said his government was putting an end to a unilateral process, contrary to the law and searching for confrontation, because no government of any democratic country can accept that the law be violated, ignored and changed. Mr. Rajoy said he planned to remove Mr. Puigdemont and the rest of his separatist administration from office. The central government was also poised to take charge of Catalonia's autonomous police force and the Catalan Center for Telecommunications. Mr. Rajoy did not ask to dissolve the Catalan parliament, but instead said that the president of the assembly would not be allowed to take any initiative judged to be contrary to Spain's constitution for a period of 30 days, including trying to propose another leader to replace Mr. Puigdemont. Mr. Rajoy said that his goal was to arrange new Catalan elections within 6 months so as to lift the measures taken under Article 155 as soon as possible. It's unclear, however, how such elections would be organized or whether they would significantly change Catalonia's political landscape, let alone help to resolve the territorial conflict. Mr. Puigdemont led a mass demonstration of 450,000 people in Barcelona, the region's capital, on Saturday afternoon. Protests in Barcelona on Saturday. Video by La Vanguardia. In a televised address late Saturday, Mr. Puigdemont said he would convene Parliament next week to discuss the response to Mr. Rajoy. He did not rule out using the session to declare independence. He accused the Spanish government of trying to eliminate our self-government and our democracy. In a part of his speech delivered in English, Mr. Puigdemont also addressed Europe's politicians and citizens and suggested Europe's foundational values are at risk in the dispute with Madrid. Democratically deciding the future of a nation is not a crime, he argued. Other Catalan separatist politicians warned that Mr. Rajoy's announcement would escalate rather than resolve the conflict. Josep Puigdemont, a Catalan senator, told reporters on Saturday that Mr. Rajoy was suspending not autonomy in Catalonia but democracy. Carme Forcadell, the separatist president of the Catalan parliament, pledged on Saturday evening to defend the sovereignty of her assembly. "We will not take a step back," she told a news conference. Mr. Rajoy isn't conscious that by attacking the institutions, he is attacking the society of this country. Continue reading the main story. Data autopause equals true, data autoplay equals true, data muted autoplay equals true, data desktop only autoplay equals false, data loop equals true, data controls equals false, data autopause equals true. Crowds gathered for a mass protest in Barcelona on Saturday evening. Reuters. Oriol Junqueras, the region's deputy leader, said in a tweet that Catalonia was facing totalitarianism and called on citizens to join the Barcelona protest on Saturday. View image on Twitter. Follow Oriol Junqueras at Junqueras. Davant el totalitarisme, avui que mai, defensem la democràcia I els drets civils I politics. Ens hi trobem. 7:30 p.m., October 21, 2017. 568 replies, 3,741 retweets, 7,174 likes. Twitter adds info and privacy. Significantly, Inigo Urkullu, the leader of the Basque region, which also has a long history of separatism, described the measures as disproportionate and extreme, writing on Twitter that they would dynamite the bridges to any dialogue. Faced with Madrid's decision to remove him from office, Mr. Puigdemont could try to preempt Mr. Rajoy's intervention and instead ask Catalan lawmakers to vote on a declaration of independence in coming days. Mr. Puigdemont could also then try to convene Catalan elections on his own terms to form what he could describe as the first parliament of a new Catalan republic. His government has been flouting Spain's constitution since early September, when separatist lawmakers in the Catalan parliament voted to hold a binding referendum on independence as a key step toward statehood. An alliance of separatist parties has controlled the parliament since 2015. After winning regional elections, but with only 48% of the vote. Should Mr. Puigdemont resist Mr. Rajoy's plans, Spain's judiciary could separately step in and order that he and other separatists be arrested on charges of sedition or even rebellion for declaring independence. Rebellion carries a maximum prison sentence of 30 years. Earlier this week, a judge from Spain's National Court ordered prison without bail for 2 separatist leaders, pending a sedition trial. Using Article 155 was neither our desire nor our intention, Mr. Rajoy said on Saturday, but had become the only way to return Catalonia to legality, normality and maintain a Spanish economic recovery which is now under clear danger because of the capricious and unilateral decisions of the Catalan separatist government. Mr. Rajoy highlighted the decision of over 1,000 Catalan companies this month to relocate their legal headquarters outside the region in response to the uncertainty generated by the possibility of a breakup with Madrid. 422. Comments. Mr. Rajoy received strong backing from politicians from the main opposition parties, with the notable exception of Podemos, the far-left party that wants to use a referendum to convince Catalan voters to remain within Spain. "We're shocked by the suspension of democracy in Catalonia," Pablo Echenique, a senior official from Podemos, said in a news conference on Saturday.